Hey everybody, Mike Toy here with Bonsai Boise. This is my single trunk Schefflera, Dwarf Schefflera bonsai tree. This was actually my first Schefflera I ever got. So I've had it now for about 5 years, give or take. And it's doing fine. It's healthy, but it is needing to be repotted into a pot that can accommodate these new aerial roots. So follow me, let's get dirty and get to work. Okay, so here we go. So I've had it in the greenhouse and it's grown these aerial roots, which I'm happy with. But the way that the tree is positioned, the aerial roots were just going down to the ground or going into the pot of the tree next to it. So I had a water bottle there. I just kind of redirected them for a little while until I could get to this. So I need to reposition it into a little bit bigger pot so that the aerial roots can reach the soil. So I'm gonna do a little cleanup and trim just a little bit and then repot it. So here's the new pot. It's the same, basically it's the same pot, it's just a little bit bigger. Just coincidentally, that was the one that I had on hand. So yeah, I'm just gonna trim it up here and repot it into that other pot and position it better. So I'll clean up some of the leaves so you can get a better look. That one bottom branch on the left is the one that I think I'm gonna have to either rewire it, remove it, or well, I guess that's basically it. There's no leaves coming out of the bottom half of it, and it's just going kind of straight up and starting to cross the other branch. So that one was my problem child. In the meantime, just sort of cleaning it up a little bit. Yeah, see, it's starting to cross with the other branch. I may just have to get rid of it. Initially, I decided I was going to wire it down a little bit, and I would do it after I repotted it, but you'll see why I didn't get to that yet. That leaf right there, that's got to be the oldest leaf on the whole tree. It's been there for a few years. I wanted that little branch to just grow more, but it wouldn't. So I'm just going to get rid of the leaf, and either new leaves will grow or they won't, and I'll just get rid of the branch. These dwarf Scheffleras are so robust and forgiving. I mean, they can survive a lot, except cold. That's the one thing they don't like, is cold. Okay, so time to get dirty here. I only repositioned these aerial roots into that plastic bottle maybe a month or two ago, but it already sort of filled it up and wouldn't let go. If you've seen any of my other videos, over the past year I've been trying to grow aerial roots. Didn't have luck with it for the longest time until I got a greenhouse and put it in there, and that worked. So I've noticed that the Scheffleras were the first ones to grow aerial roots, even before the ficus trees or any of the others. Yeah, I think I just stuffed some dirt in that plastic bottle and just kind of repositioned the aerial roots to go in there. It's been in the back of the greenhouse too, so it's kind of hard to reach. So this is really, I think it's about my first time kind of sorting out aerial roots and repositioning them. Out here in Boise, Idaho, it's very dry, so aerial roots are a hard thing to achieve. Probably impossible to achieve without a greenhouse, at least in my experience. So I'm just sort of figuring out, how do I want these to look? In the end, I decided I thought about standing the tree more upright because it's kind of a weird kind of a half raft, half informal position. It's just always been that way and I've liked it. Thought about standing it up a little bit straighter, but decided no. It's part of the character of it now. So what I'm going for with the aerial roots is I want to get them so that they're going down almost like the ground is pulling it, kind of a look. Like the ground just lassoed some ropes up and is pulling the tree down, sort of thing. I'll give you a little spoiler alert. The repotting does not go very smoothly. The way that I positioned it, it just doesn't go, it fights back. I'm going to try to get the base of the trunk, the foot, I'll call it the bottom foot there, up against the edge as close as possible in the new pot in order to accommodate room for the aerial roots. And what you'll see here in a minute is that the tree ends up being very top heavy on the back, so it keeps wanting to flip over. So this was one of the occasions where I should have wired it into the pot. And I guess I'm not there yet, so maybe I'm putting the tree before the pot. That was a terrible joke. I wouldn't mind if you just, forgot you heard that. But you'll see in a minute here what I mean. It gets a little top heavy. In the meantime, I'm just trying to get all the old soil out. Also, I didn't know that I was going to get to this today, so I watered the tree pretty thoroughly this morning. I had been sort of holding off because I knew I wanted to get to it, and I thought I wouldn't get to it today, so I went, okay, I'll water it. It'll be a few days. And then I did get time, so here I am. So I skipped all of the long, dirty work of washing out the old soil and roots. The roots were not super vigorous, really. They were looking okay, but I've seen better. And this is kind of what I found in all the trees where I experimented with more organic, rich soil. I would say what I did really is I took my regular bonsai mix and I went 50-50, bonsai mix and organic soil. And it didn't work well in any example. So yeah, that was a fail on my part. Learn from me, don't do it. It didn't hurt any of them. None of them died. It's just they didn't grow very well. And it was hard watering them. My thought was I would water them less than the others because the soil would retain more moisture, but it's really hard to keep track of all that. So I've been slowly repotting all of those old experimental trees into regular bonsai soil. So here I go, putting it in the new pot with the new soil. Turns out this was just problematic on all fronts. It was a problem in the front because it kept wanting to flip over. And it was a problem in the back, just getting these aerial roots. It's kind of like herding cats. I'm sure someone more experienced with aerial roots and this kind of thing would have done better, but this was my first time, and also I'm very clumsy, so every time I barely touched it, it wanted to move position. So it would help if I wasn't so clumsy, but you are what you are. So here we go. I've got that rock down at the bottom there, mostly just to kind of hold it in place. It's not going to stay there. Although I am going to use some rocks as decorative and also to kind of hold things down since it's not wired in. And you'll see how that looks in a moment, but I'm going to have to do something in that little dead space kind of under the canopy between the aerial roots and the main trunk. I feel like that's an area that is missing something. So I don't know what it is. A pile of rocks, maybe something to make it look cool. But so here it is after I got it all potted up, worked the soil into the roots, watered it thoroughly. Now I'll put some rocks in there. Yeah, some repots that I do, they just go really smooth. It just works well. It positions well. I did a ginseng ficus recently where that was the case. It just worked out perfect. It was easy, smooth. Everything just clicked. This was not one of those. This was one that I was wrestling with the roots. I was wrestling with the tree tipping over. It was just sort of kind of a battle the whole time. So I'm putting in some black stones. I thought that that might help contrast the white pot fairly well. Though, like I said, it won't be the permanent setup. I'll find some other decorative style. I don't know what yet. Maybe a little stone temple under there would be cool. Something. I don't know. Leave me some comments if you have an idea. I'm open to suggestions. And I'm going to try to develop that the branch structure and leaves up top. I feel like it's sort of goofy looking the way it curves off to the left there and then just goes straight up. I don't really love that. But it's a work in progress. I like the way the branches are structured. I like how that looks, but I just need to work on it a little bit more, and I may have to defoliate it just to kind of get a reset. I don't know. I'm in no hurry. You can see that bottom left branch. So I can't really wire it now because it's in such a fragile state. I mean, if I barely tap it, it wants to fall over. So I'm sort of kicking myself now. I should have wired it initially. I just didn't know it was going to be that fragile. I kind of expected more of a root system. But yeah, this is it. I'm gonna call it its semi-final form. It's not gonna be its final form, but it's its final form for now. So there it is, my Dwarf Schefflera single trunk bonsai tree. I hope you like it. I hope you learned from some of my mistakes here. Please like and subscribe if so. And you can see updates on this. You can see previous videos on this one and on all the others that I have. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.